Okay, awesome. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Add-ons community meeting for September 25th, 2019. We have a small group today from the staff side. We've got myself, Jorge, and Andreas. And we've also got Sylvain here. So thanks everybody for joining and for everybody watching the recording. I'd just like to start by acknowledging we've had a ton of really great code contributions this last month. Right now, we're at 46 contributions and counting. Still have to log a couple more. So I just want to thank everybody who's contributed code to one of our add-ons projects this month. We've seen some really great PRs come in for things like improving the code that signs extensions from AMO, updating dependencies on projects. We've seen a number of folks come in and land their first open source patch. Some really great web extensions, API bug fixes. So thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it. I'm going to go through a little bit of administrivia today before we get into some of the other stuff. irc.mozilla.org, which has been our IRC channel for a really long time, is going to be decommissioned in 2020. The reason why it's being decommissioned is that our powers of moderation on IRC are not as robust as it turns out they need to be in the current age that we're living in. And we were also getting quite a bit of spam attacks. So we wanted to find a new synchronous chat channel that would provide robust moderation tools and also help us deal with kind of the spam problem that comes when you're open and anybody can participate in joining conversation. So that means this does affect us. It means that our add-on reviewers channel is going to have to find a new home once irc.mozilla.org is officially decommissioned. So add-on reviewers will move to the new channel. I feel really passionate in ensuring that add-on developers and members of our review team and staff are still able to talk to each other synchronously and not just over the add-on reviewer tool. So we do definitely have plans to migrate that channel. And I think it's also really important that we migrate some of our other public-facing channels where developers can come in and ask questions. So that's going to impact primarily our add-ons channel and our web extensions channel. Those might end up being merged in kind of whatever the next chat channel is. But I know for me, it's really important that we preserve that going forward. So definitely on my radar. I want to let everybody be aware of it so that if anybody comes in with questions, to know that IRC is still up and running until the decommissioning date of 2020, and then we will be moving over to whatever the new service is. What this means, particularly for staff members who have licensed versions of IRC Cloud, which handles the bounce messaging. So if you're offline, it'll kind of save whatever like messages or pings have gone by you and also provide you the scroll back abilities. IRC Cloud is being decommissioned sooner than that. IRC Cloud is going to be decommissioned next week on October 4th. So just a note, if you're trying to get a hold of a staff member and they're not responding, it may be that they need to set up a new service with that bounce responder on it. On IRC. So we'll do our best to make sure that we can transition so that we're still reachable. Worst case scenario, please feel free to send an email. I know that I'm going to be struggling sending up the new thing, but it's going to be fine. So if you're interested in the conversation about what the IRC replacement is going to be, there's a thread on Discourse that Mike Hoy set up. Mike Hoy is kind of leading the committee to evaluate potentials and gather feedback. So I think they had identified 3 services that they were interested in looking at other than Slack. And I think the feedback period of that might be coming to an end. So if you'd like to see what other people have been talking about and what's kind of on the table, head over to that thread and check it out. I suspect that thread is also going to announce what the actual next thing is going to be. So if you want to keep your eyes open for that announcement, that's a good place to check it out. Okay, any questions about IRC Cloud or IRC? Okay, cool beans. I also just wanted to throw it out there. We don't need to talk about it now. But the developer of the Momentum extension reached out and said that a bunch of people were having problems with their particular extension in Dev Edition right now. We've seen a couple of bug reports come in, but nothing really concrete. So if you're having problems with extensions in Dev Edition, please let us know about that. We're kind of curious to see what's going on and see if we can help out. Okay, so diving into some other stuff that's going on right now. Extension Workshop, our one-stop resource for extension developers. We are in a code freeze starting today. We are anticipated to go live on October 1st, so next Tuesday. Woo-woo. As part of this going live, this is going to be what we consider a soft launch. So we're going to turn it on to production next Tuesday. We're also going to flip some switches on MDN to have content that is going to permanently live on Extension Workshop redirect from MDN to Extension Workshop. What I'd like to do is open up a 2-week testing period to community members at this time. Even though the site's going to be on prod and anyone can stumble into it, we're not going to be making a big splashy announcement about it. So what I'd really love is if you're interested in kind of like poking around the site and seeing if there's any bugs left that need to be ironed out, or if there's anything that doesn't look or feel right or behave as you would expect it to behave. If you could just kind of take a look at it and let us know your thoughts, that would be really great. So I'll post something on Discourse probably early next week when we flip that switch. And then we'll start making it like a bigger, splashier deal once we've gotten some initial community input and feel like it's ready to kind of be more aggressively pushed out there to our developer community. And I think, although I'm not sure if this is going to actually work out, but we did have some updated promos scheduled for the Dev Hub. Jorge, does it look like we might be able to coordinate those two things?
What are you talking about?
Sorry. When we start promoting Extension Workshop, like I was just wondering if like we could do the Dev Hub updates in mid-October, if that was looking likely.
Well, I know the engineers are aware of it, and shouldn't be a lot of work. But yeah, at this point, people aren't working in Q4 stuff, so you might want to give them some time.
Got it. Cool. That's right, because Q4 hasn't started yet, even though all of our brains, I think, are already there. The other thing that I wanted to call out really quickly is that not really quickly. So our Scott Devaney, our editorial manager, has been relaunching the way that we talk about recommended extensions, so extensions that are recommended by Mozilla on all of Mozilla's platforms. So we rolled out the Recommended Extensions program earlier this summer. Recommended Extensions is a new program where we closely monitor and review each release of add-ons that are in the program to make sure that they're compliant with Mozilla's add-on policies and kind of like meet some pretty high bars of user experience and also address critical user needs. We think that it's really important to maintain a community engagement in this program and community input in this. It's just taken us a while to kind of get the program started. So now we're ready to start bringing community in to kind of help out with continual evaluation and also vetting, things that are coming through the Recommended Extensions program. So whoever added the link, thank you very much. So for this first round, we're asking some folks who have previously served on the add-ons featured boards to come in and help us kind of get the board set up and settled, and again, work out any wrinkles that might inadvertently be in the process. So I know Sylvain is one of those folks that we've reached out to ask. Yay, thank you for joining this inaugural board. And then at the end of 6 months, we'll be opening it to public participation again, like we've done with previous featured boards, where we'll put out a call for participation. You can apply to join the board and then serve on the board for 6 months over a 6-month term. So we're really excited to get this off the ground. Looking forward to talking more about some of the progress that our community board makes, and it looks like it's going to be really great. Any questions about recommended extensions or the community aspect? Okay. Okay. We had a couple of questions that came out of the last time we talked about extensions in Phoenix, which is Mozilla's new Firefox for Android offering. And it seems like there were a couple of just conversations both on GitHub and on Reddit where people were asking a few more specific questions. So thanks so much for your thoughts and your feedback. We're looking at writing a blog post with a little bit more information and publishing that within the next couple of weeks. So right now, Philip, who's our product manager of the Web Extensions API, is talking a lot to Vesta, who's the product manager for Phoenix, about what Web Extension APIs need to be prioritized for development first. Once they have that hammered out and kind of have an idea about like when those are expected to land, we'll be able to share that information. That information will be included in the blog post that we put out. So that is our update on Phoenix. Any questions about Phoenix or Android? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. It sounds so vague to say more information is coming soon, but more information is coming soon. And then lastly, we just have a couple of general updates. So currently we're in the planning cycle for the release of Firefox 72. Firefox is moving down to a 4-week release cycle over the next couple of releases. So some dates are going to look a little bit different about when things get, like when the trains go. So if you want to read more information about kind of the decision that's driving this and what the upcoming dates are going to be for new version releases, please feel free to take a look. Click that link to the blog post. That'll take you to the Mozilla Hacks post where they kind of explain it. We're in the so we've taken a look at the dates, and there's some ongoing discussion amongst the add-ons team whether we want to treat some releases like as like one release or like how this is going to be broken up. But they're but otherwise, we're going to continue business as usual. So planning is going to start a couple of releases down the line. So we're going to be, and then, sorry. So we'll be doing planning well in advance of the of the version hitting nightly, and then working through. That was it for me about the release cycle. Jorge or Andreas, is there anything you want to add to that?
Not really. Like you said, we're probably going to be handling releases in pairs moving forward, just because a 4-week release cycle is too short for us to do the whole planning and then the whole tracking of implementation. So it'll be easier for us, and we've also heard this from other teams, to plan for 2 releases and then try to land things across those 2 releases. And another thing we talked about yesterday was that 73 and 74, I believe, those 2 releases are part of the transition toward 4-week releases, but they also overlap a lot with December and January, which is like when a lot of people are on holiday, and also we have an all hands. So we're probably also going to do that for those 2 releases, even though they're a bit longer. So yeah, those might be like our first attempt at doing planning across 2 releases rather than targeting a specific release.
Yeah, that makes sense. So any questions about the new release cycle? Okay, cool. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Those are all of the updates that I had for this week. I see that we've got a couple of upcoming events. So we have the Mozilla Festival in London this year from October 25th to 27th. If you're around, come to the MozFest. A number of us will be there. We'd love to say hi and meet up. We also have some tech speakers who are speaking at JS Fest in Ukraine and the GDG Dev Fest in Coimbatore. So if you'd like to go support your local tech speakers at one of those meetups, that would be awesome too. All right, at this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any other questions or comments. Okay, very cool. I think that was our 11 seconds for our 11-second window. Awesome. So we'll be back again in another 2 weeks. Until then, if there's any questions or feedback that you'd like to send our way, please feel free to get in touch with us. Usual channels are on the Add-ons forum. You can also send me an email or ping me on IRC. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.